culture wars are often restricted in the United States discussions to what was going on in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s around abortion and homosexuality, and then later about gay marriage. But if you look at culture wars as these battles that Americans have had where they bring moral and religious questions into the public square, and where those questions are harder to figure out, harder to settle because of the intrusion, we might say, of absolute truth and absolute morality into the political space of compromise, then you see that these have been really around since the beginning of the United States. From the election of 1800, when a big question was whether Thomas Jefferson, who was seen as an unorthodox Christian at best, maybe even a non-believer, could be president, to battles against Catholics, against Mormons in the 19th century, to controversies over Muslims today. So culture wars in the United States don't typically tend to be about sexuality, about bedroom issues. They actually tend to be about who is and who is not an American. And if you look at those battles, can a Catholic be an American? Can a Mormon be American? Can Thomas Jefferson, a so-called infidel, be president? The way Americans have typically settled those is by moving from the kinds of exclusiveness that we see around the world today with a lot of majoritarian politics to a more capacious and inclusive sense of the nation, which is to say toward, rather than away from pluralism. So what I suspect about the United States, and I don't know if this is true about the rest of the country, about the rest of the world, is that what we're looking at with Trump is the kind of death throes of an anti-pluralistic culture, and that used to have power in many localities in the United States, in many states, and even in the nation under certain Republican presidents, but that is really going away as a political force. And this is the last sort of angry gasp and protest against the rise of a more progressive and more pluralistic politics. I think we see evidence of that, more progressive politics with the first black president we've had in the United States. We see evidence of that with what I believe will be the election of Hillary Clinton as the first female president of the United States. And I think that if you look at a narrow view of what's going on now with Trump, it can be pretty pessimistic. If you look at a broader view that includes all of U.S. history, it can be more optimistic. So as I said in my talk, I think instead of raining on the parade, what I'm trying to do is do a little parading amidst the rain of the storm. And I think the stormy parts are real. We're in the midst of wars over Islam in the United States. But I think the way those are going to be settled is the way that our battles over Catholics and Mormons were settled, which is to say we'll decide that Mormons can be Americans, not just Mormons, but Muslims can be Americans just like the rest of us. So I hold out that hope at least, and that's part of what I was trying to bring to the conference, which is importantly looking at the dangers posed by anti-politics, as some people have referred to it, or majoritarian politics, and those are very real. But I think amidst those dangers, there's hope as well.